Hello, and thanks for joining us. Today's video will cover the installation of Dig's GE200 drip and micro sprinkler kit. This is a deluxe, expandable, do-it-yourself drip irrigation kit that is easy to install and connects to any standard outdoor hose bib. It is an ideal kit for irrigating shrubs, trees, roses, ground cover, slopes, and flower beds, and can cover an area up to 700 square feet. Before we get started with the installation, let's see exactly what's included in the kit. Open the top of the box, and the first items we see are the 11 micro sprinkler stake assemblies, which can also be referred to as micro sprayers. Next, we have the 200-foot coil of half-inch poly tubing, the 50-foot coil of quarter-inch micro tubing, and finally, the parts bag, which contains all of the fittings, drippers, micro sprinklers, and accessories listed on the left side of the box. This video will cover the installation of these materials, following the installation steps listed on the back of the box. The only tools you'll need are some pruners to cut the tubing, and you might also need a hammer to install the stakes. Installing the head assembly. The first step is to open the bag and remove the backflow preventer, the pressure regulator, and the swivel adapter. These parts are collectively called the head assembly, and they are connected in this order to the hose bib. All these parts have hose-type threads and screw onto each other with hand strength only. No Teflon tape is required. Connect the backflow to the hose bib first, turning it clockwise onto the faucet as tight as you can by hand, followed by the pressure regulator, and then the swivel adapter. The next step is to uncoil the half-inch poly tubing and lay it out in direct sunlight if possible for 10 to 15 minutes. This will make it more pliable and easier to work with later. Next, lay it out throughout the area to be irrigated. Run the tubing down the center of the bed if you plan on using the full circle micro sprinklers, and along the edge of the bed if you plan on using the half-inch or quarter-inch circle sprayers. If you're installing drippers, lay the tubing out next to as many plants as possible. On large installations, it is a good idea to pre-plan the system design on paper. For now, just lay the poly tubing down close to the final desired location and secure it to the soil temporarily to prevent the line from recoiling. Cut the tubing with pruners where necessary to install the half-inch tees or elbows. This will allow you to branch off in different directions to reach more plants in other areas. The compression fittings are installed by forcing the end of the poly tubing into the fitting while moving the fitting from side to side. Once the half-inch tubing is laid out, go back to the hose bib and connect the poly tubing to the swivel adapter in the same manner. Micro sprinklers are a good choice to water flower beds, trees, slopes, areas with ground cover, or anywhere that there are small plants close together. Drippers are the best choice to water individual plants and shrubs. Wherever possible, the drippers and micro sprinkler assemblies should be connected directly to the half-inch poly tubing. To do so, use the punch tool to make a hole in the poly tubing and then insert the barb of the dripper or micro tube into the hole. Sometimes it may be necessary to extend the drippers or micro sprinklers away from the half-inch poly tubing. For this step, uncoil the roll of quarter-inch micro tubing and lay it out from the poly tubing to the spot where the dripper or micro sprinkler will be installed. Then, punch a hole to the side of the poly tubing, install a quarter-inch barb into the end of the micro tubing, and push the barb into that hole. Next, cut the micro tubing to the desired length and install the barbed inlet of the dripper or micro sprinkler at the end of the micro tubing. Install a minimum of 2 drippers per plant and install more on larger shrubs or trees so that the entire root zone is irrigated. Do not install the micro sprinkler nozzles until after the lines have been flushed out. After all the drippers and micro sprinkler stake assemblies are connected, it's time to flush out the lines. This is a necessary step because some soil or sand particles may have gotten into the tubing during installation, and if they are not flushed out, they can end up clogging the drippers or sprayers. Leave the ends of the lines open, and then open the hose bib. Make sure the water is coming out clear and clean before installing the sprayer nozzles and closing off the polytubing ends with the figure 8 fittings. Now that the ends are closed off and the drippers and sprayers are all installed, we need to pressurize the system, check the areas for coverage, make some final adjustments, and lastly, install the 1/2-inch tubing stakes. First, open the hose bib all the way and pressurize the system. Check each micro sprinkler for coverage and height, and turn the nozzle or reposition the stake if necessary. Then check the drippers, make sure that they are not clogged, and install the dripper stakes. The drippers should be installed so that they are at the edge of the root ball, above and around what is called the drip line of the shrub or tree. Lastly, install the 1/2-inch tubing stakes. The GE200 kit is just one of the many innovative water conservation products from DIG. To learn more about DIG irrigation products or the many benefits and advantages of drip irrigation systems, please visit digcorp.com. Thanks for watching.